Hey Paul, welcome to your third session. We're going to go through the exercises that we did together. You also wanted me to discuss a little bit of cars with you. You seemed a little bit confused, so I'm just going to give you a brief explanation. And it's not going to be guided, but I'll give you a general guideline. And then we'll talk about back mobility, back strengthening. So you showed me the exercises you were doing. They're pretty good. I'm just going to give you a few variations and a few adjustments that you can add to make them even better. So first of all, cars. Okay, controlled articulation, rotation for 10 to 15 minutes. Like I said, it doesn't have to be very specialized. It's just the general idea is that you want to mobilize every articulation. You want to rotate the articulations. Okay, so we'll do a little bit together. Okay, it's not guided, so I'm going to go very quickly. So you can start with the wrists. Wrists rotating like this, hands apart. You can do wrists, hands together. You can pull the fingers back, you can pull the fingers in, okay? It doesn't need to be specific, but you can do, let's say, set a timer, 15 to 30 seconds, and you'll do wrists, 15 to 30 seconds, okay? Then you can do elbows, okay? Elbows, it can be just flexing, extending, okay? You can do rotation, so hands into the shoulders, just be careful with this, not too fast. You can do it in a cross, okay? This is a little bit harder, but again, it's just moving the elbows, you're moving the elbows, okay? Nothing crazy, about 15, 30 seconds, you're bending, you're extending. And the shoulders, same thing. You can do shoulder circles. Not many options, but shoulder circles are good. Okay, so you can do 15, 30 seconds. You can do arm swings out and across. This one is good for the shoulders as well and for the thorax. You can snow angel, so clap your hands under, clap your hands over, clap your hands under, clap your hands over. Try to keep it by your side so you're not swinging up. You can also bring one hand up, one hand back. You can do some of these. Okay, then the spine. I know you mentioned it's a little bit problematic, so just very slowly rotate. You're thinking about bringing your elbow behind you. Same thing for about 15 to 30 seconds. You can move the hips a little bit. So you can do hip circles. This is a good one. So hip circles. Same thing. You can do about 15 to 30 seconds of these. Then you can do bend and bow. Bend and bow is basically reaching down and then leaning back, just gently. It's problematic, but still, just reach down a bit. It's fine if you can't touch your toes. It's fine if you can't lean back that much. Again, it's just a very general, just to get the things moving. Okay. Then you can do the knees. Well, not the knees, but your posterior chain, so bring the knees up. You can do some of these. It could be even just taps, so just getting the hips moving, the legs moving. This is a good one. You can do butt kicks, so tapping your heels to your butt or set yourself a target with your hands. It's fine if you can't reach all the way back. And there's one, it's a soccer walk, so it's a cross. This one's good as well if you can do it. It's just, again, just general movement. You can also do knee circles. You can do ankle circles. You can do just pressing down the toes a bit, alternating, trying to come up on the heels a bit, trying to come up on the toes. Okay, so again, it's just very general. Just start with the wrist, then go to the elbows, then go to the shoulder, and try to work a little bit the spine, the shoulder, the thorax, then down to the hips, then down to the knees, then down to the ankles. The whole thing should take about 10 to 15 seconds. But again, it doesn't need to be super specialized. You'll get into a routine, you'll develop, you'll find something that you'll like and it'll be a good routine for you, and then just keep going with that. Okay, that's cars. So just to get you warmed up, just to get the joints moving. This is something that you can do every day. So even though you don't train every day, you can still do this type of warming up and mobility work, light mobility work to start the day. Okay, so then we have our 4 exercises. It's going to be, again, a split squat or a lunge variation, a squat variation, and then we have a pulling, and then we have some pushing. All right, so let me grab my elastic. So first of all, it's going to be split squat hold. So we use the wall. I'm going to do it without the wall so you just have a better visual example. Okay, but if you're using the wall as a reference, you're in your kneeling squat position. Okay. You can have your hands on the knee like we did, and you're gonna just barely lift up your knee. Okay, so you're nice and tall, you're gonna barely lift up your knee. It's fine if you tilt a bit, as long as you don't curl up. Okay, so tilting from the hip is fine, curling up from the back is not great. So open up your chest, you can press with your hands on your knee, or you can just kind of try to float up, and you're gonna hold this. This would be for about 8 to 12 seconds. So if you're really struggling, you can grab your knee, but again, the back knee is floating, front foot is flat, you're on your toes in the back foot. And once you're done, you switch, and same thing on the other. So 8 to 12 seconds. Like we did, if you're really struggling, you can place a yoga block underneath your knee. So your knee's gonna be a little bit higher, your position is gonna be higher, it's gonna be easier. But the lower you are, the harder it's gonna be, and you wanna go low. Next, it's gonna be kneeling push-ups, just to give your legs a little bit of rest. So kneeling push-ups, you wanna squeeze your butt, keep your shoulders down, you're gonna lay flat, touch your chest, and then up, back. Okay. Same thing, I think we did it with the yoga block. I'll use the dumbbell, but we use the yoga block, so what you're gonna do is, you're gonna rest on the yoga block, just the chest, and then push up. This is gonna limit your range of motion, and as you get more comfortable, you can remove the block, remove the dumbbell. So that's gonna be about 5 to 7 reps. Okay. Then we have squat holds at the bottom. You can use a weight. I don't mind. I think you actually prefer that. You don't have to though. So you're gonna go to the bottom of the squat. Okay. Bottom of the squat is control position. So this is controlled. This is collapsed. So even though I can go all the way here, I want to stay taller. I can reach out with the weight. Okay. If not, I can hold it here. I can hold it like this. This is going to be 10 to 15 second hold, just like the lunges. So nice and tall. Knees are in line with the toes. My posterior chain is engaged versus relaxed. Okay. So once I'm done, put down the weight, and just stand up. Last one is going to be pulls with the elastic. So the way we did it was with a little bit of elevation. You're sitting here like this, legs were straight. You grab it kind of mid-foot, nice and tall, pull to the armpit, and then release. Okay, and like I mentioned, you don't need multiple bands for this. If it's too easy, grab a bit lower, so there's more tension, and same thing. Okay. And you have the medicine ball here that I'm sitting on. It could be the couch, it could be a low stool, anything, and it can be even on the ground. This is a good posterior chain stretch. When you get proficient enough, you can start working it from the ground. So what I mean by that is you can keep your back flat if you're able to, pull to the armpit and hold this position. So this is going to be 10 to 15 reps. So it's going to vary. If it's way too easy, have a light band, go for 15. If it feels good with the heavy band, go for 10. Okay. But I need the back flat. So if you're sitting on the ground and you're like this, forget it. Just sit up higher. Try to get like I said, a low stool, or even just a couch is fine. Okay, so then we're talking about your mobility for the back. You showed me cat and cow, so which was this. That's fine, that's very good. I'll keep that in. Then you had cross leg drop. So you were doing it with bent knees. So in cross, I think you were doing this, reaching across and over. The only thing I will adapt to this is if you lengthen your legs, it's going to make it harder. So instead of keeping your knees bent, you can start by lengthening the top leg just a bit. Okay, so come back, switch, lengthen the top leg. But the main thing is keep the opposite shoulder down. So if I'm reaching with my left leg to the right, my left shoulder should stay down. So when I'm here, I'm not doing this. Be careful. Okay. And for this, if it goes even better, if this is fine, you can start by working both legs. Okay. So reach with one leg, and then keep the bottom leg straight. That first is going to be really like you were doing, just rolling your knee sideways, then extending the leg, and as you get better, Then you can lengthen the bottom leg. And I'll make it harder. But again, opposite shoulder is always down. So I wouldn't change much about that. That was pretty good. Then you have the child's pose. Your child pose was very good. What I noticed is your right side was compressed. So what I mean by that is you're kind of compressed this way. So when you were doing the child's pose, reaching, I would focus a little bit more on the left. Okay? That way it's going to force the right part to extend. So you're tight on the right, right? You're a little bit like this. So what you want to do is lengthen to the left and reach. Okay? But again, I wouldn't change much about it, so just keep doing that the way you were doing. The only thing I would add is the Mackenzie back extension. So Mackenzie back extension is you're laying on your stomach. You're going to press up. You can reach on the elbows. The hands would be probably too much for you right now, but you want to just squeeze your butt with on the elbows and breathe. Okay, you could do about 20-30 seconds, then just relax and do another set. We'll begin with that. If that goes well, I'll give you a more difficult variation, but it's a good place to start. You really need to practice back extension. And the Mackenzie protocol is actually very good for back mobilization and just to start removing pain from the back. So that's a good variation. You can do about 15 to 20 second hold 3 times. The other thing that I would add to it is swivel hips. I don't think we've done swivel hips, but I'll give you a quick general guideline. So you want your feet about shoulder width apart. Okay, your hands are behind you. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to pivot and let your knees drop sideways. As you reach the bottom position, your knee should be behind the heel. Okay, so you're not like this, you're not like this, you're not like this. Okay? So let's say I'm badly placed. I get to here. Just adjust yourself. Bring one leg out. Okay, so you have a little bit of space between the knee and the heel. The hands don't lift, and you're just going to pivot back and forth. If your knees can't touch the ground, that's fine. For a beginning, I just want kind of flossing. At first, it might be just this. Just try not to lift your hands. Try not to lift your feet as you move. I would do about 10 per side of this. Then you can take a little break, do something else, or take a little break and come back to it. Okay, so swivel hips. There's other variations, but we'll start with this. And because you're already doing a lot of mobility for your lower back, well, I think this is just fine. So keep doing what you're doing. Add the child's pose and add the swivel hips. And I'll probably see you next week, so I'll give you more stuff to do. We can figure out harder variation if you progress well. Right. Have a great week. See you soon.